Today, we are exposing the dark side of the aftermarket parts industry. TC Customs was established in 2019, but I've been a part of customizing vehicles for well over 20 years, and I've made a lot of friends in this industry, and there's even a few people that have made me their enemy. But I'm going to be using my experiences to show you 10 big issues with the underbelly of this business. Number one, let's talk about how social media influences aftermarket parts purchases, which is exactly what you're looking at right now is our YouTube channel. The problem that I personally run into, and it works with the same as like camera equipment or whatever is fun, sometimes social media can actually influence you to buy something you may or may not actually need. And so you have to be a little bit aware of that. The other thing is you also have to be aware of what things might be biased, because there's a lot of companies out there that will sponsor a specific YouTuber or a specific Instagram influencer, and you may not notice that tiny little thing on the side that says this video is sponsored. And who is it sponsored by? You don't know. And so just kind of be aware that there are some people out there that will say certain things to get a certain thing accomplished. Now, I am very proud to say that we don't take any sponsorships from any of the aftermarket parts that we sell or offer at TC Customs. Now, yes, there's an occasional situation where a company will give us a part, and that's in exchange for, hey, we just want to be included on your YouTube video. Tell us an honest opinion, honest feedback. And if you've watched our videos at any length of time, you know that we're not afraid to speak our minds. Number two, let's talk about how the EPA is affecting aftermarket parts. There is a recent article where there is a dealer and installer of parts that was fined over $10 million for installing and creating parts that are emissions defeating. Basically, you got a guy that was deleting trucks. Now, I'm just gonna be real for a second. I think this is stupid. I think that people should be able to do whatever they want to their vehicle without the EPA getting involved. Now, I also want to say, EPA, if you're watching, we don't do any of that kind of stuff because I'm scared to death of y'all. I'm scared to death of the fines. But at the end of the day, if a guy wants to remove a diesel particulate filter off of his truck, he should be able to do that. And it's really making it hard for these companies to do that if they're worried about a $10 million fine. Now, I'm also, one of those people that I don't want to ruin the earth, but I'm not going to get into a political debate here today. At the end of the day, I just want the freedom to do what I want to with my vehicle. Side note, it's kind of funny that the government doesn't have to run those same DEF fluids in their pickup trucks, but let's keep moving. And the next one is going to be another controversial political item, EVs. I would argue that EVs, unfortunately, are more of like an appliance than a car that might have a soul.
They are just white goods. They're washing machines. They're microwave ovens.
So what are you going to do with an EV? Because now you have got no exhaust. These things are harder to modify. I mean, like, what are you going to do? You're going to swap from an Energizer to a Duracell? At the end of the day, there's just not that much you can do to these vehicles. And in addition to that, I mean, you've even got companies out there, like I think Ram put a fake exhaust noise on their new Dodge Challenger. I don't know of anybody that likes that sound. There's even companies out there that are trying to do this aftermarket for vehicles like the Mustang Mach-E. If you're driving an EV, just accept it. But you have to realize that the more EVs that are on the road, the fewer opportunities there are for companies to offer parts for that specific vehicle, like an exhaust system. Let's just keep moving on to number four. Number four, driver assist features and how that is making it so much more difficult to lift vehicles. So Ford has got a technology called Blue Cruise. It's a hands and feet free driving assist technology, which is awesome, by the way. But the problem is the second that you add a lift kit to that vehicle, and let's say it's hands free, and let's say that lifted vehicle hands free runs off the road. At that point, who is liable for that death or that accident? It's kind of a scary situation because, the installer doesn't want to accept liability because it was hands-free. Does that fall on Ford? Does that fall on, or Chevrolet? I mean, everybody's got different, hands and free driving nowadays. But does that fall on the OEM? Does that fall on the parts manufacturer? Does it fall on the installer? All of those things will make it very, very difficult to customize your vehicle. It's just something you have to understand. Number 5, let's talk about warranty. And you got to realize that some of these parts that you can buy aftermarket will affect your warranty of your vehicle. Now, that may not be a bad thing, because there's companies like FabTech, Suspension Lift. They've got a wonderful supplemental warranty that if for some reason, the Ford Motor Company denies your warranty, your legitimate warranty claim, because it was lifted, FabTech will actually step in and take care of said repair in the event that you're not able to. And by the way, that's the same with BDS. That's the same with, I think Ready Lift has even got one. Almost all of these major manufacturers of lift kits have got that. But you have to realize that if you're picking a smaller company to get your lift kit from, you might be messing up your warranty completely. I mean, that's one of the things that TC Customs prides ourselves in, is letting customers know on the front end, hey, if you do this, you may or may not be affecting your warranty. It's just something you need to know about before you jump in feet first. Number 6, let's talk about how an aftermarket part can adversely affect your vehicle. Whether it's gas mileage because you put a bigger tire on there, or if you got a suspension lift, does that adversely affect your steering components, the CV axles, the hub bearings, you name it, you name it, you name it. You have to make sure that you understand that there is a downside to doing some of this stuff. Like, for instance, my Bronco Raptor on 40s. It's not designed for 40s. It was designed for a really small 37-inch tire. Now, does it handle the 40s? Yes, it does. But you have to realize that my gas mileage went down when I put 40s on it. The horsepower torque went down, or the what do you call it? The butt dyno that went down when you put the bigger rolling mass on there. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but you have to realize that with everything you do has a consequence, whether it be good or bad. Number 7, and this is a controversial one, especially if you've got a lot of emotional equity in your vehicle, and that is going to be how customizing your vehicle may not actually, most times does not, increase the value of your vehicle.
Some paint job.
No, but the paint's faded.
Yeah, but it's custom.
It's custom faded?
You see these people on Facebook Marketplace that have got this 2005 Ford F-150 that they're listing it for $85,000. Brother, that thing ain't worth anywhere near that. Well, I got a lot of time and effort and energy in that. Well, that's fine, and you like it, but not everybody else likes it. Keep in mind that every single thing you do to your vehicle, whether it is a big lift kit, or it's a lowering kit, or you add this part or you add that part, it limits the number of potential buyers that might be interested in your vehicle afterwards. That's why you see these companies that pre-build these custom vehicles on their lot. They kind of do the hardest part right out of the gate, and then let the individual tiny little customizations, let that be handled by the customer, because quite frankly, that's what TC Customs does. We build vehicles for a dealership called Town & Country Ford. But you'll see that most of those, we've got the lift kit, we've got the wheels, we've got the tires, and then we can help you with everything else in addition to that. You want a bed cover? No problem. You want some custom leather done in a funky color? No problem. If you want all this other kind of stuff done, we can help you with that. You just have to realize that by limiting the number of potential buyers when you go to resell that vehicle, it also reduces the value of that vehicle at a later time. Next one, this one kind of hurts my heart, and this is number 8, and it's how these big mega companies are scooping up all of the smaller companies. And while this may not be a bad thing, because it allows for things like economy of scale, where, if you have one mega company that's able to have a lot of companies underneath it, they can get more done a lot faster, and they've got deeper pockets to do cooler things. But the downside of that is sometimes some of the innovation can be lost. So I'm not going to sit here and bash any specific company, but let's just talk about, Fox Factory. They're scooping up a lot of different companies like Method Wheels. You've got Wheel Pros. They scooped up Hoonigan, and then Hoonigan ends up filing $1.2 billion worth of bankruptcy, which absolutely hurts my heart because I love the brand Wheel Pros and Hoonigan. But you know, they buying up a bunch of companies. Same with our friends over at Warren Winches. You know, they own Factor 55. You've got Fab Fours. You've got Fab Tech. There's a lot of F's. That's the reason I stuttered there for a second. So yeah, I just didn't want to say the wrong F word, if you know what I mean. But that's what we're looking at, is you've got a lot of different companies that are getting scooped up, and there are some serious pros and there's also some cons there, because I mean, at the end of the day, you just have to understand that sometimes the soul might be taken out of the nimbleness of that small business type of entrepreneur. Number 9, let's talk about how laws vary from state to state and love to make it confusing. For instance, in the state of Alabama, you've got one set of window tint laws. But if you go to Georgia, they've got a different set of window tint laws. Tennessee is different. California is different. All these different states have got different laws for different things. For instance, you know, my buddy Mike from Autovlog, you know, he had this really cool F-150 and he kept getting tickets over and over again because his tires were sticking out past the fender themselves.
Here we go.
The reason I stopped you is the equipment violations for your tires extending outside your fenders.
Well, in Alabama, we're a bunch of rednecks. We don't care about that, but in Pennsylvania, apparently they do. And so having different laws for different states makes it more difficult for these companies like us who do customization for customers across the nation. And so it's just kind of something you need to realize. The same thing goes with exhaust systems. Once again, Alabama's a redneck state. We don't care how loud your exhaust is, within reason. But if you do the same thing in California, you see people all the time getting pulled over for factory exhaust systems.
For the exhaust and the front plate, all right? Go and sign here. It's a promise to appear in court, not admit.
In the state of California. And that also goes for emissions testing. That's another thing, is that in one state they may require an EO number. What do you call that? A 50-state CARB number. But in other states, they may not care. But having those different variances makes it very confusing for somebody that doesn't know what they're doing trying to customize your vehicle. The last one, number 10, the cost to do business. What most people don't realize is just to make one lift kit, you have to make a mold for this part, and for that part, and for this part. And keep in mind that each mold that you make, like let's just say the driver's side steering knuckle for an F-150, that mold might run you $100,000. And then you got to make one for the passenger side. And then you got to make one for this, and then you got to make one for this. And then, by the way, if you wanted to be FMVSS certified, which is FMVSS 126, which is the rollover certification, that's another $100,000 just to get the government to say that, yes, this lift kit does not affect my roll stability control in the factory vehicle. And so what people don't realize is that when you're buying a lift kit, you're not paying for just the pieces of metal. You're paying for the molds. You're paying for the engineering. You're paying for the certifications. You're paying for all of those different things that really adds up to the cost of doing business. And that's one of the reasons that I believe that it makes sense what I said earlier about all these conglomerates that are scooping up the smaller companies. The deeper pockets allow for them to make more lift kits for the customers just like yourself. And if you have any other questions about having your vehicle customized, you can call us right there on the screen, or you can visit us at tccustoms.com.